The last larf in the kingdom of Ashenme came from a baker's apprentice. He let out a single bright bark at a loaf that rose perfectly in the oven. Then he clapped both hands over his mouth, eyes wide, as if the sound itself had burned him. The silence that followed was so complete that you could hear the river moving under the bridge at the edge of town. Nobody moved, nobody breathed, and somewhere a window was quietly shut, because in Ashenme, joy had become a crime. Ashenme had not always been this quiet. The kingdom sat in a soft green valley where the river ran slow and the hills rolled like sleeping animals. For generations its people had been known for their festivals, 3 each summer, full of bonfires and music and children chasing each other through the orchards. That was before the decree, before the towers, before the king decided that silence was the only language grief could speak. King Aldrich sat each morning at the window where his daughter used to watch the market. He counted the silences like coins, each quiet hour a small proof that he could still protect something. He had failed to keep Princess Cilia alive through the winter fever, but he could keep the world from celebrating without her. Cilia had been 7 years old, with a gap in her teeth and a way of clapping when she was happy. It made everyone around her want to clap too. Each still day without her felt like a devotion, a candle he lit and relit and lit again. What the king did not yet understand was that devotion, left unwatched, becomes a cage, and a cage cannot hold a child's question. The people of Ashenme obeyed, at first because they grieved, and later because they were afraid. The penalty for laughter was a week in the tower, and the tower was cold, and the king did not pardon. Mothers pressed fingers to their children's lips the moment a giggle began. Husbands and wives spoke in low voices at the table, careful not to let amusement slip in. The market traders who used to call out jokes with their prices learned to sell in silence. The court jester, a man named Pym, packed his bells and walked out the castle gate without a word. No one stopped him because there was nothing left for him to do. Even the birds seemed to learn. The sparrows that used to chatter on the rooftop tiles grew still, as if the silence had seeped into their small bright throats. 3 winters passed this way. The kingdom grew quieter than the snow that blanketed it, and the people forgot what their own laughter sounded like. Then, on a morning when frost clung to the windowsills and the river had gone grey with cold, a girl appeared in the market square. She was holding a wooden toy, a little painted bird on a stick, the kind that rolls on wheels. She was new to Ashenme, the daughter of a travelling cloth merchant who had set up his stall near the gate the night before. She had not heard the decree. She did not know about the tower or the silence or the king who counted quiet days. She pushed the bird across the cobblestones. It wobbled on its wheel and fell over, and she righted it, and it fell over again, and she laughed. Just once, just a small clear laugh, like a single drop of water hitting the bottom of an empty cup. The guards seized her before the sound had finished echoing off the stone walls. They brought her to the castle, and the king came down from his window to the great hall. The girl stood with her little painted bird clutched in both hands, and she was not crying. She was staring up at his face the way children study things they do not yet understand, with patience and without judgment. The king looked down at her and said, "You know the lore." The girl nodded slowly. Then she tilted her head, and she asked a question so simple that the guards would remember it for the rest of their lives. Was she good at laughing? The girl asked it with genuine curiosity, as if the princess were a story she had just heard and wanted to understand. The king opened his mouth, and no words came. He stood there in the silence of his own making, and for the first time in 3 years, he heard it. He heard the absolute, crushing emptiness of a world without laughter. He sat down on the steps of his throne like a man whose legs had forgotten how to stand. He stared at the little painted bird, and he remembered his daughter. She had been very good at laughing. She had laughed at everything. She would have been the first to break this silence. Grief makes us want to build walls around the world so that it matches the shape of our pain. But love, real love, doesn't ask the world to go quiet. It asks the world to keep singing the song the one you lost loved best. You know this if you have ever heard a tune your grandmother used to hum and caught yourself humming along. It hurt, and you kept humming anyway, because stopping would have been the real loss. The silence we build around our grief does not honor the dead. It only buries the living. That evening, the baker's apprentice pulled a second perfect loaf from the oven, and this time, when the laugh escaped him, he let it come. And somewhere in the castle, a king sat by an open window. He listened to the sound of his kingdom remembering how to live, and it sounded, almost, like her.